Lies and fairy tales.
She has lost her mind.
Have I? So I want a stark white wave from the rollover. However, I tilted it and heated it so much that it kind of split and thinned out. So I'm just putting a little white there to edge up my wave. And this will match the heat of the resin that I just put all the heat on. Okay, so I'm gonna do an ocean. I went ahead and mixed my resin, and I'm gonna need 2 kinds of blue, some white, and some clear. That's all I need. So,
And that's already got diamond dust in it?
this has nothing in it.
Oh, okay.
This is just fresh
Okay.
resin.
Lots of bubbles.
It's a lot of them because
Okay,
I use
that's what I was looking at.
I use her drill.
Yeah.
The white I'm going to use is just resin titanium. This is a very heavy white, and it's a very true white. I don't have to worry about it going translucent or
Yeah.
being anything other than solid white. It's a paste. It's a flat paste, and it is amazing. I use it for every ocean that I do. I just find that it works best, but I do have whites from other brands that still work just fine. Mixes it also really well. I cannot see the color of the stir stick, so we're opaque. Perfect. Now I'm gonna need a light blue. I'm gonna use Bondi. And I'm gonna put, let's say 2 drops to start. I know, it looks like a blue melted Jolly Rancher. This is the oceaniest blue I've ever been a part of. It was named after Bondi Beach in Australia. So it's gonna, Bondi, yeah.
B-O-N-D-I.
So that's gonna be my shoreline blue. The next one I'm using is Caribbean Blue, also by Color Obsession. I just put 5 drops in. We're gonna see how that looks. I'm gonna need more.
What blue that is again?
This is Caribbean. I usually use Blue Lagoon tint for my deep ocean. I just added like 8 more drops. Because I really want a deep blue
Ocean. For the contrast.
for the deep areas, you know?
But you can still see through it.
Right.
It is still translucent. You can still see all the textures of the stir stick. But it's gonna be my deep water blue. All right. So I went ahead and prepped this board. It used to be a wood sample board. I sprayed a texture spray paint from, I think, Rust-Oleum. And then I sprayed gold metallic spray paint over it to give it a shimmer, because I like shimmery sand. Now I'm gonna put some clear down where I want my wave to be. This is for 2 reasons. I want to be able to kind of map out my ocean. So this is a little bit too low for me, and I could wipe it off if I wanted to, and it won't stain my board if I had it already like a blue. Also, it separates my white from my ocean colors so that I don't have to worry about my waves being pastel blue instead of white. So I'm gonna take my Bondi, and that's gonna be right up on the shore, and I'll mix it in a little bit other areas as well. And then I'm gonna take my Caribbean, and this is gonna be my deep ocean blue, but we're gonna say there's a lagoon over here and over here in different areas.
You need to live on the beach.
I do. As a mermaid, I definitely do. But I want to add a little bit of a darker blue too. So I'm going to use Alumilite's Translucent Ocean Blue. Just put a little dab in there. All of my colors mix with each other and Rhonda's colors. So now I have a deep ocean blue that I can add in here. If I had Blue Lagoon, I would have done this with that color, but I used all of it last time I was here, so I'm using Alumilite instead. A lot of colors are interchangeable. You can just mix and make them whatever color. All right. So this is gonna look real spastic, but just hear me out. This part doesn't so much matter, like how the ocean looks, because I'm gonna do a whole bunch of manipulating when I push my wave backwards. Gotta get my edges or Kenny will
Yes.
have a panic attack. And I'll just work it up into the clear, blend the 2 or 3 blues together.
Put your edges back here on the back, 'cause that's what he'll see.
Mind the edges.
Almost a little bit. Yeah, you got it.
And then I'm gonna kind of cross hatch my resin up towards my shore a little bit, because I'm gonna tilt it and I'm gonna use a lot of heat, and I don't want all of it to run off. In the art world, I would just put some coasters back there to collect whatever falls off, so I can still use that resin. It'd be functional. White. Now, I'm gonna add my white where my water hits my sand. I want it to touch both the water and the sand so that it can grab onto the dry part and stretch. If I just put it on the resin, it's just gonna roll back.
Yeah.
You want it to stretch.
You want it to hold on.
Yep.
Grip.
Fold it in.
I'm gonna fold it in. You don't want too thick of a line of white, because then the white's gonna take over and you won't see the blues.
It's hard to believe.
This little bit of white will be
Oh, yeah.
just perfect. And if you wanna get extra, you can add like a little bit of a back line. Totally your prerogative. I typically use this attachment. I call it the wedding cake. It's a concentrator nozzle. I have them on my website. But since I don't have any with me here, I'm gonna use the platypus attachment. I don't know the official name of it, but it looks like a platypus to me, therefore it's a platypus attachment. This heat gun used to be an Amtake HG something something. They just came back on Amazon. I think they're like $22. The heat is variable from the back of it. Best heat gun I've used. Better than Rhonda and Kenny's. And I will tell them that to their face.
Powerful.
Their heat guns don't blow a lot of air, and I need to make movement. So I'm turning all the way up on high airflow, and I have the heat all the way up. First thing I do is to make sure I don't have anything floating in the surface, because once my wave starts flowing backwards, it'll catch. And I don't want anything, kind of like if there's a rock in a river,
Yeah.
your
it goes around.
everything's gonna part around it. Don't want that. But we're good. Now I'm gonna preheat right before it. And then put my heat gun on it just enough to make it move. Preheat. And then make it move. This is a one pass design. You cannot go back and add heat again once your wave starts moving, because when you add heat, you're gonna thin areas out, and you're gonna tell that you went back. It's just not gonna look right. Scorch. And you can scorch it. I'm adding just a little bit of surface heat to get some separation in the waves, but I wouldn't go back and do another pass. On that one over there, I used that heat gun attachment, and I pushed it all the way down. I can do that with this one. A lot of people like this secondary wave that happens from the platypus attachment, so I usually leave it. I can also hit it with a little bit of what is it? What's the other thing? A torch, and get some cells to pop up from that as well. I'm just hitting it with a little bit of heat on the surface to get that surface tension to break. And that break is gonna stretch the paste, essentially. And that's what gives you the little cell structure. So I added a little extra heat here. That's why the cells are a little bit more concentrated here. I can do that same thing right here. So all these cells are gonna pop up just right here. This type of process is based on heat mostly. You have to have the right resin, the right pigments, and the right heat source. I can do a torch and tilt with that. It just takes a little bit more finesse because you can scorch your resin really easily. And scorched resin looks like an elephant elbow. It's not a good look. So we're gonna avoid that. But anyways, that's how I do my ocean. It's super easy. Lies and fairy tales.
She has lost her mind.
Have I? So I want a stark white wave from the rollover. However, I tilted it and heated it so much that it kind of split and thinned out. So I'm just putting a little white there to edge up my wave. And this will match the heat of the resin that I just put all the heat on.